What's up, everybody? This is the Elden Man here, and the flow of time sure is convoluted, isn't it?
We are amidst strange beings in a strange land.
Hard to believe it's already been 2 years since Elden Ring came out.
Amazing.
And in my opinion, it was nothing short of a masterpiece. Anybody who didn't like Elden Ring had their gamer card officially revoked. Given that FromSoftware has raised the bar with the Dark Souls Trilogy DLC and Bloodborne, we expected this, Shadows of the Erdtree, to be even better somehow. The question is, does it live up to the hype and expectations? The answer...
Man, holy shit, dude. I'm getting PTSD watching Asmund break his face on Mesmer, man. Dude. And then him giving up and playing Shield.
It's a little more complicated. However, the more things change,
the more they stay the same.
Like every major release in the Soulsborne series, there's some juicy controversy to digest. Once again, the flame has been linked, the Age of Fire continues, and the debate around difficulty has been reignited.
Suck my nuts. You can literally explore the game and make it easier for yourself. Everything else is just a skill issue.
Some say Shadows of the Erdtree is too difficult, challenging, the bosses are overtuned. It's bullshit. Many others are content to rely on the age-old saying, get good. You know, those...
Or you can respec. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, realistically, you can cheese and play whatever you want. This reminds me of when people tried to shame Iron Mouse for playing Magic. Like, shut up, man. Let the woman play the game how she wants to.
2 words are pretty motivating. Wife left you for another man, and you lost your job. Dog died. Get good. Stop crying.
Stop fucking crying, bitch! Where?
But who's right and who's wrong? Is it too challenging or not enough? To be honest, I've seen some pretty fair takes from both sides. I think there's valid praise and criticism for Shadows of the Erdtree. But there's also room for some hot takes. And today, we're going to be looking at some of the spiciest hot takes for Shadow of the Erdtree.
Sure.
Ones that might make you go a little mad. So I'm actually going to take this off because it's really fucking hot in here. And maybe by the end of this video, I'll give you my own hot take. And what better place to start with hot takes than from the man himself, Hidetaka Miyazaki, who says, I'm still in the process of making my ideal fantasy RPG. While Elden Ring is not quite it, it's getting close. What is
that guy is a madman.
He's smoking. It wasn't quite good enough. Game of the year, not enough for me.
True artistry is really suffering, man. It really is, man.
You guys realize this man will never stop cooking. Like, he refuses to leave the kitchen. Put the frying pan down, Miyazaki. Just put it down already.
Cooking,
seriously, bro made 7 critically acclaimed masterpieces in a row, and he still has the balls to say, I got one more in me. The thing is, for the Souls series, which I consider Elden Ring to be part of, I don't know how much further the bar can be raised. I think it's time their next project should hopefully be another sidestep like Sekiro or Bloodborne. Something that's completely separate from the medieval dark fantasy style, and they can get more experimental. Still, I think it's very respectful to still be hungry when you're pretty much at the top. You know what I mean? Like, he's still hungry for more success. Since the discussion around...
That's what's admirable about people like him. Like, a lot of people need to remind themselves, like, God, for the love of God, try to better yourself. Don't just, like, stay stagnant because you make enough money. Like, just do it for the love of the art. If you love video games and you're not in it for the money, which he clearly isn't because he's like, I need to do better. Like, be like him, chat. Always do better.
Difficulty in Shadow of the Erdtree is so prevalent, I think we should also once again hear from the man himself. Miyazaki on Elden Ring difficulty. I absolutely suck at video games. This guy, by all accounts, should have a massive fucking ego, but he doesn't. And that's what I think is so respectful. He just comes out and says, yeah, I suck at the games I make. Or maybe he's saying that to help people that do suck not feel so shitty about themselves. This next take is in Portuguese, so I don't know if it's a correct translation, but... And there are people who still think Elden Ring is better than Red Dead 2.
They're 2 completely different games. Like, for me, personally, I love Red Dead Redemption. I really do. great storytelling, great characters, great music, great atmosphere, great graphics. There's some glitches here and there, I'm not gonna say, but holy shit, this is like comparing apples to fucking oranges, man.
Oh, yep. See, there it is. There it is. Look at the fire graphics. Look at that.
Whoa.
I mean, Elden Ring doesn't have that. You know, it's not like Rockstar actually went through incredible crunch and somewhat horrible working conditions to achieve this level of detail.
True.
But we should expect that in every other game too, even when it doesn't matter and it's completely unnecessary. I'm pretty sure this is a shitpost. I've never heard Elden Ring and Red Dead Redemption 2 brought up.
No, it totally could be. Twitter is totally like that for engagement baiting.
In the same sentence. Like, were people seriously comparing these two games? But there's this trend on Twitter where people will do these like weird comparison videos between two games that like are absolutely nothing alike. You know, they'll be like, look at the detail in Last of Us 2. Just look at the facial graphics. What about the no, we're not talking about the story. Just the graphics. Also, look at Aloy's Peach Fuzz. Look at the Peach Fuzz rendering.
No offense, but who gives a fuck? No, for real. Like, I understand, like, graphics is amazing, but, like, Baldur's Gate 3 has amazing graphics, but it also has amazing story and, like, characters. Like, okay? Like, you can't have one thing and not the other.
Wow.
It's so much better than Hellblade, the Peach Fuzz. Yeah, I know this is probably troll and a bait, but I'm gonna bite anyways. It's not enough to like their favorite game, they have to find ways to compare it to whatever is popular. Really funny how gamers still haven't realized that realistic graphics—
Wait, hold on. Last of Us Part 2. When did that come out? Last of Us Part 2 release date 2020. Red Dead Redemption. It came out in like 2018? Yeah, 2018. Yeah, I mean, like, does it really matter? Last of Us 2 was so ass. Yeah, that too, man. That too.
Find ways to compare it to whatever is popular. Really funny how gamers still haven't realized that realistic graphics are one of the biggest reasons the game industry sucks right now.
True.
This is a genuine point though. Yay, your game has a realistic physics engine. In exchange, you will get one game per decade and the game costs over $500 million to develop. One flop and your studio is done for.
This is why I'm scared for GTA. What's the budget on GTA now? It's actually insane, bro. I'm so afraid for them, man. If they don't make this a good game, it's over.
It's fucking sad. It's a huge risk, game development. Speaking of dumb—
It's over $1 billion? Oh, hell nah.
comparisons, Elden Ring. Create your own character.
Oh, it's Michael Jackson!
Make dynamic choices that change the entire story of your character. Open world with 100 plus enemy types, 60 plus bosses, on-point landscape-driven exploration, lots of interiors, and some of the best reward systems in the game. Reused bosses aren't an issue since it has a ton of boss variety. World design is insane and lore is good. Insane boss roster, amazing open world exploration, incredible Metroidvania, lots of interiors is boundary pushing. Most open world games are unable to use interiors. Shows excellence in terms of world design, art direction, and content. Objectively, the best open world designs out there. So he's glazing. He would probably lick Miyazaki's nutsack if he could. Why is
This is a little bit hard glazing, yeah.
this a hot take? Because compared to The Witcher 3, kill things, make choices that barely affect the story.
Witcher 3 is amazing, bro. Shut up.
A character either dies or loses relevance in the plot. Repeat for 50 hours. You left out fight monsters, bang hot chicks, get betrayed by them, kill them.
Yeah.
Choices that barely affect—
Oh yeah, play Gwen, freaking the music, like brutal choices. I remember, again, not gonna spoil it, there was a point with this guy in the story, I was like, damn, that was fucked up. With his, you know what? And then they find the thing and it was all like fucked up. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
the story.
Yeah, the backstory was wild.
When's that ever been important in storytelling? If you really want to hop into the fire, just go on Facebook. You will find some crazy shit. So I usually laugh at complaining posts, but this time...
Bro, Facebook immediately, like, Facebook comment, put in the garbage.
I need to
Instantly.
make one. This game would honestly be better if we didn't have to heal.
What?
I want my full health bar. Let us divide our health in magic bars based on sacred tier level and do away with the stupid flasks. Seriously, the only reason I can't beat some of these bosses is because I constantly have to stop fighting to heal. They're not gonna...
You wouldn't have to heal if you didn't get hit, you dumb bitch. Just imagine my hands going like next to my head, go to...
get rid of a core mechanic that's like healing. Yes, you should be able to heal in the game. You have to make that choice when you're fighting a boss. Do you get greedy, or do you back off and try to heal, or try to apply a buff? I think there is a point to be made about how small the window of opportunity is in between attacks with certain bosses, that like a lot of items and shit you can't really use. There's a...
Well, then the argument becomes like, you just have to learn the telegraphs. Some of the telegraphs are really fucking annoying, because they trick you into thinking that it's one of the telegraphs and you have to make a split-second decision. So again, it comes down to skill issue. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, reading attack patterns, knowing what... By the way, I learned a really sick thing. I think Aswin watched a video about it, and it was that jumping without locking the camera is better than rolling. And I was like, damn, dude, I didn't even think about it. Apparently, that's another skill issue.
Point to be made about that, but to, like, you want the full health bar? You just want that shit, like, stacked 14 times on your screen? You know what? Yeah, this is good. This is an improvement for sure. I have to heal up to 14 times per fight. That's ridiculous. Managing my stamina against relentlessly spammed attacks is already enough of a challenge without having to come to a dead stop and endure a painfully slow animation of my...
This sounds like a parody post. This can't be real, man. Oh no, I have to heal. Oh no.
Tarnished, drinking out of a stupid flask.
I don't know if it's just me being wow-brained, but like, I PvP'd, and if you wanted to get a heal off and someone kicks you, it's like a skill issue. Just bait a kick or something. Like, don't get stunned. Don't get low. It's like, what? Yeah, have you tried not fucking sucking?
I want to meet this person, and I want to watch them play Dark Souls 2 for the first time. And I'm just going to be staring in their eyes, waiting to see their expression. Dark Souls 2 fans be like, yeah, boys, who wants to get fucked up? Beat this boss first try with no summons, but it still doesn't count since I used Blasphemous Blade, apparently. Actually, you're right. That doesn't count. You can't use the things that I don't use. I'm just starting to...
This is another massive pet peeve of mine. Yeah. Massive pet peeve of mine, man. I hate that shit. Oh, you beat the boss by one-shotting it with this, like, really cheesy shit. It's like, oh my god, man. They put it in the fucking game. It's not even a fucking exploit, you piece of crap.
To think that Elden Ring is an easy game, but we have to force a bunch of gameplay rules on ourselves to make it hard. That's the ticket. That's basically Elden Ring. And you can see this in the vast difference between Elden Ring and Sekiro. I think Sekiro is the hardest game FromSoftware has made, because you can't bullshit your way through it. You can't just leave this boss and go grind some runes or souls to buff your stats. In Sekiro, the progression is very harshly gated, but in Elden Ring, it's open, it's free. That's the benefit of the open world, is that people...
Yep. Elden Ring is the baby version of all the Souls games. That's why I like it. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Have all these tools to fight the enemies with. You could argue the problem is that there's too many tools. It's a hard balance to strike where you're trying to make things that are fun, flashy, and cool, but also make them...
There are too many tools, but acquiring them also takes a lot of time and work, so therefore... people who are bad at exploration and stuff and don't understand, and like, they don't understand how the game functions and that they should go out and explore because they're not used to an open world, basically RPG. Like, it's just another skill issue. Like, go look it up or go watch a video. I don't know what to fucking tell you. It's like these people didn't grow up before like guides and shit existed, man.
Balanced. Like, if you want to cheese your way through Elden Ring, you can. And if FromSoftware didn't want you to do that, then they wouldn't have put these tools in the game in the first place. That being said, I think there are legitimate criticisms about like how bosses are designed, how levels are designed, the arenas you fight enemies in, and whether or not that's interesting and providing a unique challenge. It's not so much like, I just want to fight a really, really hard boss with a tough moveset. It's also, how do you get to that boss? Do you have to traverse down some fucking poison-infested village to get to a hot spider witch? And is that challenge satisfying when you overcome it? Like, that's kind of the ticket with difficulty in these games. It's never really been about the difficulty. That's always been an expression of the harsh world. To immerse players into the game first.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had my moments in the castle where all the fucking stupid birds are. I had a moment where I was literally about to quit the game. I know, a big baby moment. Like, no other point in the game that I ever want to fucking quit. I was like, oh my god, I was about to cry on stream. And the people were like, I had like maybe 60 viewers at the time. And there was like a couple of people that were like, why did you just skip it? And I'm like, I don't know how. It's like my first time playing a Souls game. So I get it. But then overcoming it was like, fine in my book. Like, it's part of the journey, you know?
Further. For me personally, I enjoy the challenge of learning a boss's moveset and all the proper timings. Because when you hit that like 6 dodge combo and you can get through it, you kind of feel like a god. It's the same thing.
There were some poorly designed bosses that had really annoying attacks, but La Rue, or whatever his name is, I know I always fuck up his name, but La Rue was definitely so fucking fun. Really fun boss. There was some bullshit like how he grabs you and stuff and how he tricks you, and that's part of the game. But Horaloo, he is just amazing in my opinion. Melania's up there too, but she had some bullshit where she just spam attacks you all the time, which is annoying. But yeah, Melania, when she input reads and resets her animations, yeah, that shit is really fucking annoying when she does the dance like fucking 8 times in a row, but then on another fight, she does it like 3 times in a row, and you're like, okay, I just got lucky. I rolled the dice slow, I guess.
Thing with parrying, timing attacks, it all comes down to timing.
Ooh, bitch!
Blitz!
Oh! Nice.
No pause button in a single player game is just straight up bad design. I don't care. Well, it's not a single player game, but I get what you're saying, it can be. These games have never had a pause feature, and I don't think they ever will. The reason, I think, is because of immersion, once again. When you cross that fog door, you gotta lock that shit in. You gotta lock in, and it's just you and the boss in your world. You can't worry about what your fucking kids are doing. If you got kids...
You may need to pause to stop your kid from putting a fork into a socket.
Okay, counter argument. The game is not that fucking important if you notice your kid with a fucking fork in the socket. Just die and go next. Like, what the fuck are we yapping on about? Like, just like, what the... Like, just drop the controller and die. Like, who gives a fuck? I know it's annoying. Like, yeah, like, ah, shit. But, like, bro, shut up. I have to kill the boss for the kid. That's right. Little Timmy, you're getting electrocuted. Suck it up.
Little Jimmy's gonna stick a fork in the outlet. Let him fry, okay? Survival of the fittest. Kid that dumb's not gonna be smart enough to beat Elden Ring, so what's the point in raising him? But I think being able to pause like mid-fight would take a lot of wind out of the game's sails. It would take away from the intensity of a boss and your immersion within the game. Like if somebody calls me when I'm fighting a boss in Elden Ring, this is pretty much what I say.
Fuck! Dude! I'm busy! Call back later!
But it's like, it's okay to advocate for more accessibility. I just respectfully disagree that these games should have a pause feature. I think it's funny that Kai Cenat, like the biggest streamer on Twitch, has been playing FromSoftware games for like, what, 2 months? And he understands these games better than some longtime FromSoft fans.
It's a skill issue. I'm assing your ass. But you're ass though, cause you really like say this too hard, nigga.
Yeah, people who quit the game. Look, I have to reiterate, there was a point where I really wanted to fucking quit, but because I'm a stubborn asshole, I was like, all right, lock the fuck in, try to get around it. I asked one of my mods to look up and tell me where to go because I kept getting confused. Moment. I know, skill issue, but at least I can get a little bit of help. However, I did fucking say I need help. I'm getting really mad and I was on stream. So I said, okay, fine. Can someone just help me really quick and tell me where to go? Because I was getting confused on where to go and like which way to go. So what the fuck ever. I beat the game. Suck my dick.
Put your big boy pants on, go out there and go fight.
That's
like what are you talking about? If you went through all that hassle 2 years ago, why the fuck would they make a DLC for you to breeze past and be done with in a day or two?
Guys, we're complaining about difficulty and challenge. You know the drill. We don't fuck around here.
Right now.
I mean, okay, we bitch, we moan, we break our controllers, we give up, we call it quits, and then we boot up the game the next day.
Yes,
okay?
I finished
Until that
the game.
fucking boss is dead on the ground forever.
DLC, the game.
Booyah!
Let's go.
It would be disappointing if Shadow of the Erdtree didn't ramp up the difficulty. If we all just breezed through it, that would be pretty shitty. And I think that's the reason why FromSoft forced players to beat Moog to gain access to the DLC. Because if you can beat Moog, you can beat every other boss in the game, I think. Moog's pretty fucking hard.
Is Moog harder than Melania? I feel like you can cheese Moog really hard. I don't think you can cheese... I mean, I guess you can just cheese him, like, with just summons. I don't know. Not harder? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I feel like... I feel like Melania is a lot harder and also harder to cheese. You can cheese Moog pretty easy.
So at this point, when you enter the DLC, you're supposed to basically have all tools at your disposal. That's the grounds that you should be confronting this challenge on. But I need some spicier takes, and I think I have just the answer. Now, this video is from a very small creator, so I'm not sure if I want to show his channel name or the title of the video, because I don't want to inadvertently send a bunch of hate his way. But I feel
respectable. Okay.
like he's so entertaining, I have to talk about him.
So I've been thinking a little bit about Elden Ring lately, kind of how quickly it's fallen off, how it's irrelevant, how the DLC hasn't salvaged.
Irrelevant. Holy, okay. Whoa.
Game.
He just hit me with 8 stuns in 8 seconds. What,
I didn't get DR'd after
Kind of
that.
how quickly it's fallen off, how it's irrelevant, how the DLC hasn't salvaged the game.
How quickly it's fallen off, how irrelevant it is. This has to be masterful trolling, because right out the gate,
Nah, chat, he's playing the Boogie. You guys remember when Boogie was like screaming about World of Warcraft in 2005 or whatever? He's farming right now.
Already angry.
There have been really interesting lines of thought that have come from thinking about this game and the attempts at making this a cultural phenomenon.
Why does this guy feel like he's like Phil Spencer's son or something? Am I crazy? I feel like he talks kind of like him.
There's been a lot of damage control in regards to the difficulty, right?
He's a good actor,
People are
Chad.
trying to gaslight those who criticize the DLC as simply having been filtered by the difficulty. Like, nobody is complaining about the difficulty in Shadows of the Erdtree, in my experience. The game is easy.
I mean, I read some of the comments the day the DLC came out because I read some of my Discord messages. Not messages, but like, you know, in Discord, you have your own little Discord. I was reading, people were like, damn, this boss is hard, blah, 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 blah. And then when people beat it, they were excited. I don't know. Like, the average person thought it was hard, but they just kept going.
It's simple. It's a breeze to get through.
He's fucking
baiting,
trolling.
man.
He's trolling me. There's no way. If you take what he says
no
at face
way.
value, it makes me mad. It makes me want to convert to the Church of the Frenzied Flame.
Seeing like the response to my my criticisms of like the DLC and the base game and FromSoftware as a whole, I kind of get
From slop.
From slop. That's a good
I've
one.
long talked about how other video game titles are far more hardcore and intense than anything FromSoftware has ever done.
And
You know, I've talked about Super Monkey Ball, Monster.
Nah, man, he's trolling. FromSoft is such a good one.
Hunter and stuff like that.
More intense, and he brings
No one who's that low IQ would say FromSoft.
some super monkey ball. But is he wrong? Bro, how this guy can say all this stuff with a straight face, like, I
Good
respect
acting.
it.
That's
Something
good
I think
acting.
really needs to be addressed, that needs to be brought up, is that Elden Ring is absolutely easier than the Dark Souls games.
No.
I can't critique it, but I have watched people play Dark Souls, and I would say that, I mean, I think some of the boss mechanics are harder in, like, Elden Ring boss mechanics are a lot more complicated, but Dark Souls is a lot more unforgiving. Does that make sense? Like, it balances it out. Yeah, like, Elden Ring is more accessible, but it's also a little bit more difficult. But also, you can cheese more, but in Dark Souls, it's, like, really unforgiving. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends how you play the game. And again, that's subjective. I don't know. I can't really tell unless I play it for myself. Yeah, running back in Dark Souls is a fucking pain from what I've heard.
Bro, he
Insane.
knows his shit because he knows everything he's saying is going to be like super inflammatory. It's going to spark wild debates. Like if I said that, there would be hundreds of comments being like, "You're wrong, Act-Man." Like this guy knows his craft. Like it's uncut. There's no editing. He only calls FromSoftware FromSlop. This is a good troll.
Like the game has been casualized. The fact that this is only just dawning on me now really just goes to show you just how little respect FromSlop fans have for the older Dark Souls games, right? They don't talk about them. They don't play about them at all. They don't care.
They don't play. They don't talk about. They don't care about the old Dark Souls games. Like,
dude, this is so good.
I know it's a troll, but I still want to debate him on that.
There isn't really much of a push to debate as to whether or not Elden Ring is better.
Oh my god. I watched one of my moderators named Chaco play Dark Souls for a little bit, like, I don't know, like 8 months ago. God, it was the funniest shit ever. Watching you get pinned by that stupid dog boss on the staircase and then going, "Oh my god, what the fuck, did you see that? Oh shit, oh fuck, what the fuck is going on?" Dude, yeah, the Capra Demon, the dog on the staircase and then getting locked and like fucking it all up and dying. It was so funny.
Than Dark Souls, right? Aside from PlayStation fanboys who will advocate for Bloodborne being better,
No, he's
there
not
is
Canadian,
no
he's
real
Belgian.
discourse on whether or not like FromSlop has been falling off or not.
Saying this like just 2 years after they won Game of the Year and then releasing Shadows of the Erdtree to the reception it's gotten, it's just crazy. It's wild to say that they've fallen off at the height of their power.
And I find that really, really interesting that everything FromSlop does is seen by the community as simply being better and more difficult. Like we saw that with the DLC, right? Where everybody is trying to say that Shadow of the Erdtree is far
That just looks like a massive peepee. I'm sorry.
harder than the
A
base
really
game of
big,
Elden Ring.
fucked up
But
peepee.
is it harder than
Ball sack.
Dark Souls? Is it harder than Demon Souls?
Those are actually interesting questions because depending on how and when you played those games, like I started with Dark Souls 1, then Demon Souls 2, 3, and then I played them in order. And playing them in that order, like each one was challenging in a completely different way that it's really hard to describe which one was harder. Wow. A shitpost.
I watched a speedrunner play Dark Souls 3, I think? And it was a completely different beast, man. I feel like the bosses were kind of like a joke, but then like the actual game and like running back was annoying AF. For sure.
That makes you think. It's
At least some of the bosses
You know,
were
it's
jokes.
not as hard as Monkey Ball, I can tell you that much. But like when you really sit there and really think about, when you really start to think about like, wow, nobody I know is playing the DLC or cares about it at all. You know, like when you really start to like look at like, oh, 5 billion units sold, that's great, except you know, that's probably the absolute peak it's going to get, right? You know, it fell off very quickly after that.
Yeah, it fell off after 5 million sales. I just... Wow.
Top
this has
tier
been a real
trolling,
treat.
bro.
Like, there wasn't some major resurgence of interest in Elden Ring, and
You see what I'm saying? He's so good at... I'm just going to be reiterating myself if we continue watching this. I'm just going to say, wow, that makes me angry. Great troll. Hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep up the great content. I love it.
I've made this comparison
acting,
before,
chat.
but it feels like Elden Ring is in the
Peak 2009 YouTube. That's what I'm saying. It's Boogie. It's literally Boogie raging out and bitching about the game and saying stupid shit. He's got the same phenotype look too. I think he's genuinely doing it on purpose.
same boat
Yeah, he's
Skyrim was a
acting.
decade ago, right? When that game came out and everybody swore up and down it's the greatest game ever, and yet, like, you know, actual Elden Ring fans, actual Elder Scrolls fan, excuse me, you can't even these similar. They're so
He's
so
smiling.
generic.
He's smiling. You literally saw him. That's a smile right there. You can literally see it. He's trying to like contort his face because he's laughing.
You can't even
See that? See that? See that? Right there!
They're so generic.
They're so generic.
Damn it. Oh, got me again.
That was good.
Elder
That was
Scrolls fans came out and said, like, no, like, Skyrim is disappointing, right? It's shallow, it's basic, it's uninspired. Morrowind was better.
The debate around like which Souls game or Elder Scrolls game is the best in its series is much different than like, are these still objectively good fun games? And the answer is yes. All of the Souls games are fantastic. It just comes down to personal preference, which one you prefer the most.
You know, the Elder Scrolls has
Yeah.
been falling off for a long time.
Now he's talking shit about Elder Scrolls. Well, I mean, he's actually not wrong.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's not
Elder
really
Scrolls
wrong,
Online,
to be honest.
you know, that's the new game, Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, 6 years since the trailer, boys. 6 years.
It's shocking to me, you know, as a real hardcore gamer, how often, like, a lot of the people who advocate for Elden Ring don't really seem to know all that much
Yeah, it's
about
never
video games
releasing
in general,
shit.
right?
The way he slinks in those subtle insults to people who really, really love these games is it's just chef's kiss.
And these are like the stereotypical, like, modern gamers, the kind of people who will seriously tell you that Elden Ring is hardcore, right? That is the Elden Ring audience. You know, people who don't even know what's out there. This is the reality, right? They are like the Marvel consuming, like, mainstream lowest.
No, you did not just compare to the Marvel consumers. Oh, hell yeah.
Common denominator slop, right? They are
Slop,
the people who show up to Adam
Consuming.
Sandler movies.
He's comparing FromSoft fans to Adam Sandler movies. That's the lowest common denominator. God, we have to finish this video.
But now, like, you're really seeing them, like, get more aggressive about it. You know, like, aggressively try to pretend that, like, no, FromSoft is the hardest game series ever. Oh, it's way better than Zelda. Oh, like, and they'll go to great lengths to try to discredit them and dismiss all their arguments, right? Because to them, not enjoying Elden Ring is sacrilegious and is...
You can not enjoy Elden Ring, but it's usually a skill issue. I'm just saying.
And it should be condemned.
He's not wrong. I'm genuinely surprised this video that I think is a 100% troll actually got me to, think a bit more critically about games. And I was actually, like, agreeing with a couple of things he said. Overall, great troll. Love what you're doing, man. Keep it up. Fantastic video. Made me super angry. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what all did we learn today? Well, we learned that Red Dead Redemption 2 is better than Shadows of the Erdtree.
I learned that Spiciest Shadow of the Erdtree hot takes is not a hot take. It's a good, clever little clickbait title. That's what I learned today.
Tree because of grass physics. In Witcher 3, your
I don't
decisions
think this is a
don't
hot
really
take or
matter.
anything.
And most importantly, FromSoftware has officially fallen off. I always loved the discussion around new FromSoftware games, and it was actually kind of hard to find more legitimate hot takes for this video, but takes I thought were interesting nonetheless. But what do you think? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the... Wait a minute. I promised you my hot take too. And it just might
Ooh.
be the hottest take of them all. I was disappointed with Shadows of the Erdtree. Video coming soon. Peace.
Uh-oh. Damn! Okay, bitch. Alright. You're allowed to have an opinion. Everyone's entitled to one. Dun dun dun! That's right! Dun dun dun! Oh, wow. I love videos like this where I can just yap. Yappening. Everyone can have wrong opinions. Yep, that's right. Chat, check them out. Fartman! Mr. Fartman. But like the Act Man. If you don't like them, that's okay. There's people who hate me out there too. I know, it's unbelievable, but you know, such is life.